Hi there, my name is Morgan Ryston and I'm the creator of Center Studio, where I teach people skills to feel more comfortable more often. Now, recently I got an email from a longtime student in New York City, and she had told me at the end of her email, she added a little PS and said, I would love if you would do a couple videos on breathing. Now, when she said this, I was like, yeah, of course. I deal with this all the time in individual lessons, and then of course with my group lessons, I'm always talking about breath. But yet I haven't done any videos about it yet, and I think I know why. For me personally, I think breathing was always a challenge. It was always difficult, and to be quite honest, I didn't like it. I didn't like when my teachers went to my ribs. I didn't like it when they talked to me about freeing up my breath. I felt a little rigid and protective of my ribs and my breathing. And to be quite frank, I just felt as though if I freed up my breathing, my composure and my poise would completely fall apart. For me, my breath was very much attached to my emotions, and I felt as though the patterns that I had developed around breathing sort of was essential to my existing in the world. I just felt as though if I started to explore how it would feel to free up my breathing, then, I would be more vulnerable. Maybe I would fall apart more easily. I just felt that whatever coping mechanisms I had come up with thus far in my life, it was working. Let's not muck with it. And what I found was that by freeing my breath up, I really was able to sort of enter this next level of the work, which allowed me to open myself up, not just physically, but also emotionally, mentally, in ways that maybe the work hadn't accessed before. So today, just to begin with, I wanted to kind of suggest to you all this sort of idea of awareness of your breath in the first place. And it seems kind of silly because, yeah, of course we think about our breath, especially if you exercise. But, you breathe over 20,000 times on average a day, and therefore, as one of my teachers always teased me, therefore I think it warrants a little bit of thought. And I think that this idea is right, that if we do breathe so often, and it's a primarily, subconscious effort on our part, it can be helpful if we know when it's not available, when we are interfering with it. So let me give you an example. Maybe you're having a conversation and you hold your breath, right? Maybe you say something and you're waiting for somebody to respond to you, and you're on the edge of your seat. You're like, what is this person gonna say? And you hold your breath. Or maybe you're in a conflict and you feel like you want to get your point across, and it's getting heated. The discussion is becoming a little bit more serious, and you feel your blood starting to sort of boil, so to speak, and your energy rise. Are you breathing quicker, faster? Is it feeling like you can't get enough air, right? And sometimes just being observant of how your breath is either easily available, is not there at all because you're holding it, or is excessive, right? It's too much, can be really eye-opening for some people, because then it gives you an option to say, okay, well, can I let my breath out? Can I start to bring my breath back in? Can I slow my breathing down? And you start to have a little bit more wiggle room with how you feel. And so I'm going to just recommend that this week you give it a try when you're in a conversation with somebody, when you're on the phone, or if you're maybe in person with a partner or a roommate or what have you, that you notice, when am I holding my breath? When do I feel like I have too much air or not enough air? And start to see if you can just become a little bit more present with how your breathing is either available to you or not, so that then it opens you up for a little bit of change, okay? And then, like I said, next week I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper. I'm gonna go into offering up the whispered ah, which is something that Alexander Technique teachers are always teaching individuals. So I will talk more about that next week, okay? If you haven't already, friends, I would love if you would subscribe. You can do so by hitting the button below. Okay, until next time, take care, ciao.